Liberty is all about making personal choices. It's in this context, that I, since 1999, have advocated the legalization of marijuana. People making personal choices. I've got good news and bad news on the marijuana issue. The good news, in 1999, I was the highest elected official in the United States to advocate for the legalization of marijuana. The bad news is, in 2016, I am still the highest ranking elected official in the United States to call for the legalization of marijuana, and yet 58% of Americans now want to legalize marijuana. There's no congressman in office, some politicians after they get out of office see the light, but there's no elected congressman or woman, senator or governor since that time, since 1999, in office that has advocated legalizing marijuana. Is this an epiphany? Is he actually... All right, good for Bernie. Another issue out there that is raising its head, and we've seen it play out, is mandatory sentencing. And from a liberty and freedom standpoint, we have 2.3 million people behind bars in this country. We have the highest incarceration rate of any country in the world, and part of the reason for that is mandatory sentencing. And I just recently weighed in New Mexico to say, don't pass mandatory sentencing. Shouldn't judges be given the discretion in these instances? And when you pass laws that are well-intentioned, but end up having unintended consequences, which is what mandatory sentencing is all about, look, we need to start rolling back mandatory sentencing. I support marriage equality, that people making personal choices, the liberty, the freedom that we all have to make personal choices. Women's rights, the issues that women face, abortion. Oh my gosh, how could anyone face a more difficult decision, but a politician is going to make a decision on that as opposed to the woman involved? The woman involved is the person that should be making these choices, and no one else. And government spending. Government is too big, it tries to do too much, and because it does that, it takes too much of our money, which ultimately is the liberty and the freedom that we could garner from having that money ourselves. I absolutely believe in free markets. I think there's a magic to free markets. Are there mistakes in the category of free markets? Yeah, but I think that they correct themselves better than anything that is government manipulated. In that context, I, as governor at the time, and when I was governor, I was more outspoken than any governor in the country regarding school choice, bringing competition to public education. I think that it would be a dramatic improvement in education, unleashing 1 million entrepreneurs in the area of education to deliver better products, better services, and when you do the math on the unit value of kids in school, there's a lot of money that could be divvied up. And why is it that teachers is the only category of occupation where you don't have a teacher in this country that's making $30 million a year? It's because of the system that we have that doesn't allow the best to be in a position to affect many, many, many more students than they already do. And healthcare. Wow. I mean, anything that's government mandated and takes money away from me is money that I could be spending on the things that I love to do. When it comes to healthcare, my healthcare premiums quadrupled, and I don't go to the doctor. I don't go to the doctor. I believe it's been 2 years since I've been to the doctor, and then my insurance didn't cover it when I went to the doctor as it was. But free market for health care. just for a second, imagine if free market, and by the way, healthcare is about as far removed from free market in this country as it possibly can be. But if there were genuine free market for healthcare, guess what? We would have insurance to cover ourselves for catastrophic injury and illness, and we would pay as you go in a system that was genuinely affordable. There would be Stitches R Us. There would be gallbladders R Us. There would be X-rays R Us. There would be radiologists we'll read your X-rays are us, and we'll give you a diagnosis. But it would be out of pocket, and it would be very affordable. Doctors would end up making as much money because of how uncomplicated it would be. And this is the age of the internet, but this has not been allowed to take place, and it's just too bad. I am running for President of the United States. I think I would have been elected President of the United States in 2012 if people just would have heard what I had to say, and I based it on a couple of things that happened in 2012. One was they came out with a jobs report, and Rick Perry was beating his chest over the fact that he had created more jobs than anybody else, and they did an analysis, and oh, lo and behold, it was Gary Johnson. And when asked to respond, my response then, as it is now, is I didn't create a single job as governor of New Mexico. Government doesn't create jobs. I do think I contributed to a level playing field, and it is something that can really be done. It is something that government can do or try to achieve, is this notion of level playing field. Another thing that happened in 2012 was the website I Side With. And on that website, which is also up now, which has really screwed up my answers. I submitted to them a couple of weeks ago, so maybe don't go on I Side With right now because they got all my answers screwed up. But in 2012, I was the next President of the United States based on the fact that for all the millions of people that got online and actually answered where they were on all the issues. And then another thing that I was really proud of in 2012 is the ACLU came out with a report card on all the presidential candidates, and I'm going to assume they're going to do that again. But in 2012, they came out with a report card on all the presidential candidates. 24 Liberty torches was a perfect score. Newt Gingrich, Mitt Romney, and Rick Santorum had one Liberty torch between the three of them. Can't make it up. In third place was Barack Obama with 16 Liberty torches. In second place was Ron Paul with 18 Liberty torches. And Moi had 21 Liberty torches. So,